Yeah, boys and girls, we are back in business. What's going on? It's Mikey Wine here, aka Gun and Money Works. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great Christmas. Julius is chiming in. Tyler, jerseys. Tomorrow, Tyler. Uh, anyway, yeah, hope you had a good Christmas and a good New Year. Got to give a shout out real quick to all the friends and family in California who are having a horrible time with wildfires over there, and LA is burning to the ground as we speak. It's kind of tragic. And but anyway, enough of that. Hope everybody had a great New Year's, great holidays. I know that's kind of contrary to what I just mentioned, but today I was learning about one of my friends that I've known for a long time lost her home, and it kind of sucks. But hey, I took a couple weeks off. I was doing, the holidays Christmas and New Year's both fell on Wednesdays, which is normally when I do my live streams. So I just decided not to do those the last couple of weeks. But I did get quite a bit done on this project in between, and so we're going to touch on all those things. Had a little bit of some trials in there. I was painting the body, and I'll explain what happened there, and had to do some repairs and stuff like that. But the dash is in, the interiors are done, and we'll go over all that stuff. So anyway, throw a comment in, especially if you're on YouTube, throw a comment in there. That helps the algorithm, of course, and we'll get started here. So let me go down to, anyway, welcome in Julius and Tyler, if you're the only two in the chat right at the moment. Hopefully Julius is still here. He was talking pretty early. Everyone who is watching or joins us later, please hit the thumbs up. Oh, thanks, Julius. I'm going to put that on the screen. Yeah, you guys, you're the best. Thanks, Julius. I appreciate the shout out. Yeah, absolutely. Hit that subscribe button and tap the like. And throwing a comment in also helps quite a bit. So even if you don't subscribe, or if you don't hit the bell, just throw a comment in there. That helps out. At least that keeps the algorithm going. They call it, it's the people that interact, the interactions, stuff like that. So it's all good. Let's go down look here. Now let's see, cleared everything out, but I've got basically the interiors, everything here without the shell. I'm going to bring the shell over here in a second and kind of explain what I've been doing with that. Right here, I've got the headlight and tail lights and the markers, stuff like that I've been painting on the runners, because it's just going to be much easier for me to just cut them off and install them. Here's a comment. I like pizza. Yeah, well, I do too. Good for you, Julius. Thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. And so last time I think we left off, I was actually making some custom seat belts for this, and I actually glued those in place and everything. But in the meantime, I've also glued in the seats and the dash, the steering wheel, everything. So I'm going to just go down to the close up here so we can kind of get a closer look at this. So in the rear here is a small piece of glass, and the trunk space that is, there's not much of a trunk space in this car, but that's it. And that will be under the glass when we put the shell on. But you can see the steering wheel, the gauges, the nav unit has a piece of glass in front of that as well. If you're looking right up here, this area, I'm going to try to get my little pointer here. So, okay, so you got the nav unit right here, dead center, just above you can see the little Lexus logo on it there, maybe just above the controls. And then you got the gauges, everything like that. Door panels, also all finished. Seats and the seat belts. What's up, Nick? Nick's in the hair. How you doing? Is that nav unit a Harman? I don't know. I don't remember. That's a good question, Tyler. I don't think it's Harman. It might be. Actually, I think They also went with a higher end audio unit. I think it might even be what's the other one? Not Harman, but maybe Harman is their high end. I can't remember. I haven't worked for Lexus in a few years, so I don't remember. So I still making my eyes work. Yeah, I know. It's small stuff. I will still have to install little center caps on each one of the wheels, and those will also have a little Lexus logo on those. Those are decals that I have to put on. They're very tiny. If you look at the wheels, you can barely see. Maybe there's a little. Well, you can't really. They're too shiny, but there will be a center cap there, and there will be a little logo there. I've also got all of the photo etch painted, ready to go. These are all the grills that will go on at a later time. Let me bring the shell over here, or the body, as you call it. Alrighty. So here we go. This was not even primed when we first talked. I had to fix some seams. There was these little scoops here. There was a seam there on the doors. That took about several different Harman, Denso, Clarion, Fujitsu. It's probably a Harman, but yeah, I don't remember. Bose, no, not Bose for sure. Definitely not Bose. Shiny, yeah. Well, I did clear coat this, although the roof section itself is not exactly as shiny as the rest, and the reason is because I'm going to put a decal on that. Speaking of that, I almost gave up on doing the carbon fiber for one reason, and one reason only, is because the A-pillars on this kit, you see how thin they are? They're very, very thin. And at one point, while I was sanding the primer, trying to kind of get all the little imperfections out so I could get a nice clean surface to paint on, nice smooth and without any lint or anything like that. And I was pretty good about keeping my spray booth nice and clean. I also had my wet towels down to catch any dust, so not a lot was flying around. So I didn't have a lot of repair work. However, while I was sanding the roof, I accidentally flexed it, and it actually cracked both A-pillars right at the top, right where they meet the roof. Cracked but not broken. Okay, fine. I put a little bit of CA glue in there, reinforced everything, filled it, sanded it, filled it again, sanded it. Thought I was good to go. Started to, I painted the body, and then at one point I was going to make a stencil for the decal. So I put some tape across here, and I had to reposition it. And when I lifted the tape, it actually completely broke the passenger side, which is the left side on this car. Completely snapped it, the A-pillar. So I had to go back and glue it again, fill it with CA, and sand it and paint it again. And I think, let's see here, I think I did a pretty good job. Then I can't even see any cracks, both sides. And I noticed that even the other side was also flexed a little bit. You could see the paint kind of ripple. So I went ahead and sanded that again and cleared all that up. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of trying to make a stencil, is I'm going to just cut a square piece slightly larger than the roof, because the pattern is supposed to go at a diagonal across from corner to corner. So it's not going to be just a straight pattern straight back. It's supposed to be at an angle. And the wing is also supposed to match that. And I'll bring the wings out here in a minute. So I'm going to cut a slightly larger piece, and then I'll take a fresh razor. I'm going to lay the decal on, and then I'm going to take a fresh razor and go right across the drip rail and trim it there. But I'll leave a slight edge in front and back, and then I can actually use decal software to kind of fold that under, and then the glass piece will hold that in theory. This is my plan. This is what I'm going to try to do. So another thing I had to do, and we might actually get to that tonight, because I got a few decals I've got to put on this first before I clear coat it again. I've got 2 F Sport logos on the front fenders that I have to put on. I've got a 3rd brake light decal that has to go on the back. And then, let's see, that should do it as far as decals. Then I will shoot it one last time with clear. And then, after I put the roof decal on as well. I also have to do the wing. So one of the things this model kit came with was some magnets, and you can kind of see them in the back here. There's three circles. Those are tiny little strong magnets, and those rare earth magnets. And that's for the wings, because you can do this in two ways. You can have the wing down or the wing deployed. So basically on the bottom of the wing, there are 3 photo etch tabs. You can kind of see them shining because the paint doesn't really stick to them. So those tabs are on there, and then the magnets are on the body. So basically you pop it down and it clicks right into place and stay, that way. This is wing down. Now, if I want to do wing deployed, all right, there's this other piece that I haven't glued the wing on here yet, because I still got to try to do the carbon fiber. So this has a separate piece that would do wing deployed. So let me pop this one off. And this one looks slightly different. This wing has actual side pieces, the side skirts on either side of the wing, but that will sit on top of this when I finally get everything ready to glue together. So that will go there. So now I'm going to hold this up so you can kind of see what that looks like wing deployed, which is probably what I'll end up displaying this like. I don't know why I would put the wing down. I don't know why anybody else would either, but that's what it looks like in the up position. So, but I also have to put carbon fiber on those as well. So let me just stick this back. What else? I painted the glass. So this was using both stencils, and then I had to completely mask off the side windows myself, only the front and the rear where it came with the masking set. There might be a little bit of blemish here that I've got to clean up on this side, but the paint is actually painted on the bottom side. So all of the blackout areas of the wings, of the windshield and everything, and the rear glass are all done. And then there's just a spot for the rear view mirror to go on, and that's it in here. So, but before that can go in, I've got to finish the whole shell, and then there's a lot of pieces that have to be installed, like the front. This is all the air filter assembly and the intakes. There's also some coolers here. That mounts to the inside of the body. And then there's all the photo etch grills. All that stuff's got to go in first before I can put the glass in. And then one of the last things I did in the time off here was I painted the bottom. This is what would be carbon fiber on the bottom. This is the nose clip. This obviously steel bracket, stainless steel or whatever, shiny. And then we've also got the rear half, which has the heat shield for the exhaust. One of the last things I did too was I also added some color to the exhaust pipes there. You can kind of see where the bends are. There's a little bit of heat discoloration on the pipe. So when this piece goes over it, and I'll show you what this looks like. I'll take it off the skewer here. So this will go down. Let me get this position, then I'll bring it back into frame. So this will go just like that. Come on, focus. There you go. Now you can see the little discoloration on that, the heat discoloration on the camera. Oh, what's up, George? How you doing, man? So that's what that's going to look like. And then there's a couple more pieces that will go on either side of this to fill this all in. The front clip here, let me just take that off the skewer. This will sit right around, let's see, there's only two little tiny holes on either side. So this has got to go in just the right spot. Let's see if I can get this lined up. I'm not gluing them on. I'm just trying to place them. So there we go. So that's most of the bottom coverage, and it covers up a lot of the engine. But again, that's just the way it is. The exhaust, the muffler is back here. There will be these two side pieces that complete this the carbon fiber that's usually underneath it. Now, I'm not going to be covering these in carbon fiber. That would take I mean, I'd have to cut in and make individual pieces that go on here, and I just don't feel like going that deep. So I'm not gonna, but I will do the roof and the spoiler, both of them, just in case I want to, display them different ways. So we're discussing Lexus audio. Yeah, we were trying to remember. Tyler was asking me what the audio system was in this, whether it was Harman Kardon or Denso or one of the other ones. I don't remember. If Harman Kardon is their high end, then it's probably Harman Kardon. For some reason, I just can't remember. I can picture the logo in my head, like on the doors and stuff, but I just can't remember what it was. Now, this piece here, here's the hood. The hood is completely done and polished. So, not completely done. I still have 2 photo etch grills that have to go in here. And what the hell? Oh, there's some polish I got to dig out. I was wondering what there was some white. You can see that white. So that's just some of the excess polish here. But I did some color sanding with my Zona wet dry microfibers. I'll bring those out and show those in a sec here. And then I polished it using just the fine polishing compound from Tamiya. So that's the finish I got for the hood. Now, I've got to try to replicate that on the entire car, but the problem is I really got to be careful of this damn roof. It's just so damn delicate. I don't want to over stress it and flex that thing. If I break it again, it's just going to be that much harder to fix. So, what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, headlights and taillights. So, did quite a bit of hand painting here. These lenses were actually installed in there. There's actually a clear lens that goes over both of these. So we got the headlights and the taillights ready to go in. And I'll just clip those off the sprues when I'm ready. The other thing is I've got these are the turn signals or the markers, the amber markers here, and then these go in the back. These are the headlight lenses, and then we've got the tail light lenses here. So that is that. And then one of the last things I might get to tonight is I've got these little side mirrors. These are all painted and ready to go, except for there is this section that faces the doors. It's got to be done in black. So I'll probably hand paint those tonight. Then I can clear coat those and be ready to go. So I got some water here in case we're going to do decals. I just have a few. I might break out the carbon fiber decal here. This is the sheet, carbon fiber sheet. Oh, let's see, George. ML is owned by Harman, now owned by Samsung. Oh, okay. Good to know. I'm not sure. Well, maybe, I guess that's good to know. You would know. I mean, of all the people in the world, George is Mr. Audio. He should know who owns who. My biggest challenge is just going to be this roof piece. I really want to do it right, but I'm nervous about it because I've got to use a very sharp blade. I've got to cut it just right. I don't care, if there's just a little tiny lip, it doesn't need to be much, but just enough that I can use the softener and roll that edge under. So when I put the glass in, the glass will actually support that. So here's what it will look like with the glass in. So I flip this back over. Okay, so there's the glass. And that's why I want to be able to just, if I roll that edge or front and rear, the glass will hold that in and keep that in place. But man, what a pain in the butt. When I broke that, I was almost in tears. It just crushed me. I was like, man. One of the other cool little things is the hood comes with a hood prop, and you can either have it open or closed, obviously. But on the hood here, there are two. Let's see if I can angle it. Okay, you can see them. They're reflecting. They're actually black, but they look white in the camera. But those are two magnets as well. So on the hood prop, there actually is two little small pieces of photo etch, and that just allows the hood prop to attach to the inside of the hood. If you want it in the down position, you just stick it on there. Otherwise, it goes right in a little hole here on the side and then on the body and holds the hood open. So what I will do, because I do have a little bit of that wax in here, I thought I got all the wax off, but I got a little bit left. I just got to get this off the inside. So I'm going to take my toothpick here and just, might need to use, actually I'm going to use this, would be better. Tip of my, there we go. That polish, there was a little bit of that extra polish from the Tamiya polish. All right. So that's where we're at. We've got quite a bit done in a 2-week time. We had the layoff there for the holidays. Again, I hope everybody had a good Christmas. Mine was very, very just mellow. A couple of kids came over, watched movies, just kind of hung out, didn't do a whole lot. Didn't make a lot of food. You know, we made some, but nothing crazy. So I think what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to at least put the 3 smaller decals on. I got 2 F Sport logos that got to go on each front fender, and then drip of something there. There we go. That'll polish right off. And then I've also got the 3rd brake light, which is a small. It's really just a long, goes right above the rear Lexus logo. It's just a long strip that will go on. So I've got some water already set up here. In fact, I got hot water when I started, so it shouldn't need too much to warm up. I'm just going to bring that up to temperature. The mirrors, I might actually paint those tonight. And then I've got the, oops, there they are. The inserts for those that can go in. The little one here, we got the LFA logo for the rear, the Lexus logo in the rear, 2 side mirrors, the rear view mirror. Those are all reflective transfers that I'm going to be able to use. But for the time being, I'm going to pull these up. Okay. So looking at this, this decal sheet here, I think, let's see. Oh, there's, okay. So right in the middle here, there's that 3rd brake light. It's just that long strip right there. That's the long decal I'm going to put on. So that will come as well tonight. But first, let's see what focus is here. Come on, focus. Okay. Look at number 3 there. You see those F, they look like a big golden F. Those are the F Sport logos that will go on the fenders. And number 1, those are the 4 center cap logos that will go in the center caps of the wheels. And each one of those center caps is a black piece or a piece of black plastic that I'll have to paint and then put these little decals on. And hopefully not damage them when I'm trying to install them. Right? Right. So the next thing I'm going to do, I got to grab some of my blue. Let's see, I've got these little blue towels that I like to use for decals. So give me just a second here. I'm going to take these out. There we go. Oops. All right. Throw these away. Okay. I think we're just going to try to do these decals. A lot of this photo etch, there's 2 pieces that go in each side of the, if you look at the rear here, there's kind of like this black brace. There's a photo etch piece, grill that goes across there, goes across there. There's also 2 corner grills here, and those are already painted. Here's one here. You can see that little tiny triangle piece is actually a piece of photo etch behind it. So the regular majority of it is molded plastic, but then that little tiny door, a little tiny opening is a piece of photo etch in there. So there's 2 of those. you can kind of see where those will fit, one on each side of the rear. Let's put this back so we don't lose it. And then let's see, there will be a grill here, a center grill here, another grill here, and then one on each one of these intakes on either side. So the radiator intakes there'll be a grill here, and then one on these scoops as well. So there's a lot of photo etch that's got to go into this. And those are all right here. So all of these here are all going to be for the body. This one actually goes under the center of the car. So if you look at that long kind of brace, that's going to go somewhere right about in the middle, underneath here, right across the bottom of the exhaust area there. All right, so let's set that down. So first up, why don't I just I'm just going to do that rear third brake light. So I've got to put those decals down, and then I can clear coat it one last time to seal those in. I've done most of the sanding I'm going to do to this. What I was talking about earlier, I forgot to talk about or show this. This is called, these are from Zona. They're 3M wet dry micrograded polishing paper, as it says there. It comes with a 600 grit, a 1200, 18, 8,000, 10,600, and 22,000. So it's a rather large sheet. But what I did was I cut them into small little squares. So these are the 22,000. I marked them. There's my 10.6. They're colored. They're different colors. 8,000, 1,200, all the way down to 600. I barely used any of the 600. You can see the red. That's actually paint, that came off while doing the polishing. And they're wet dry, but I used them as for wet sanding. So they work really, really well. I was really, really impressed by that. It's the first time I've ever used that stuff. Thank you to Brian Denklau for recommending that to me. He's the one that told me about those, and they were great. Let's see, I don't need that, so I'm going to throw that decal aside. I'm just cutting out this third brake light here. It's just a really long strip. I'm going to have to get a fresh razor blade, especially if I'm going to do that roof. Because by doing so, I could place it over, get the decal, use the softener on it, get it to set nice and flat. And then right before it really just sets, I'm going to have to trim each one of these edges with the blade and go right down that groove where the trip rail is. If it all goes well. If not, I guess I can just peel it off and try again. I've got a pretty large sheet here. This is about a, let's see, 22 to 20. So it's about a 5x8 sheet of carbon fiber. So I should have plenty unless I make a really, too many mistakes, but I should be able to do it. It's just, I'm just really concerned about those A-pillars. They're so fragile. And Brian was telling me that one of the cars he just worked on had some kind of a frame system that went in there while you're painting it to kind of support everything. And I thought, man, that would have been great. But this kit didn't come with that. You worked at Mark Levinson, really, when they developed the auto system for Lexus many, many years ago. Well, cool. That's cool. Could have been Mark Levinson. Mark Levinson was it might have been actually, rather than Harman Kardon, I think it was Mark Levinson. Going back to Tyler's question, I think it was Mark Levinson. I don't think they use Harman on much. Oh, maybe they did. Now this water should be pretty. It's actually tepid, so I'm gonna heat it up. Even though I got some hot water, it sat for a few minutes before I started the stream, so chances are that's why it's cooled off. So I'm just gonna heat it up real quick here. I got my little. Just gonna slide this in so everybody can see. I've got a little coffee cup warmer here. Bought these on Amazon. You can find them on my Amazon page. If you want to buy one, they should still be there. Hopefully, you can go to my Amazon page, my sponsor page, and pick one up. They work really, really well for this kind of thing, just to keep the water warm. This is almost ready to slide right off. Just making sure I'm getting the right orientation before I get ready to, because I really don't want to. I can't do it. It's right here, right where that A-pillar meets the roof. That's where the weak spot is, and just don't want to have to try to fix it a second time. And I don't want to have to try to paint this if I mess this decal up. All right, 1 second here. Okay. I got to put on the close-up specs for this one because this thing is tiny. So give me 1 sec here. Try to do this in camera here. There we go. Pretty much got it. So let me spin this around so you can see. Right there. And there is some detail in that decal. It's not just a white decal. It actually has almost looks like little individual segments where the LED bulbs would be. All right, I'm just going to let that sit for a second, and then let me get a fresh Q-tip here that I can squeegee that out with. So far, so good. That looks good. All right, now I'm ready for a little bit of some mark softener on there. That should help this settle right in and be just fine. The only other decal I would have left after this is the like the license plates that just have a little, like a square. That's what these little guys are here, like on the corners, the little LFA for the license plate. There's 2 of those. I'm not mounting the front plate on here. Just doesn't make sense. Nobody's going to mount a front plate on a car like this. So I'm just going to leave it alone. But I will do the rear plate, and I was trying to figure out what color, because normally they want you to paint it white, but being as it's a red car, I think most of the time when they display a car like this, the plate itself is actually, or the plate frame is the same color as the car. So that's what I'm going to do. So I painted that one red. And you can see this right here. This is the license plate there. That will be that way when, it's a clear decal with the LFA lettering on there. So I think it'll look good. Black lettering on that. So, all right. One more touch of softener on there, and then I'll cut out the other 2 F Sport logos that are going to go on the fenders. All right, that should do it. Just a fix-it ticket? Yeah. That's assuming you actually drive the damn thing. All right. There we go. We should be able to let that dry. All right. In the meantime, let me cut out these 2 F Sport logos. It even came with, 'cause I didn't do the calipers in, I did the calipers red. No, I did them in black, excuse me. They actually gave you the option to paint them red, and then they had these black Lexus logos that would go on if you painted them red. I guess it would have been kind of nice maybe to have nice shiny red calipers in this thing, but I already did them in black, so that's why we're just leaving that alone. They look good in black. It's not, doesn't have to match the car. They always had crazy color combinations with these. Like even, most of the interiors were just weird color schemes. So, all right, let's do this first of two F Sport logos. There was a smaller one of this that went on the steering wheel. Right below, actually at the very bottom of the steering wheel, there was another one of these little F Sport logos. And while that's sitting, I'll see if I can get that into focus. So see if you can see it. It's going to be under the airbag. So you got to look right there and see the steering wheel right there at the bottom. That's that little F Sport logo right there. Yes, Angel, I'm making you use your eyes again. Let that sit for just another minute. I'm gonna grab the second one, just get it out of the way. I don't want to lose it. Just a fix-it ticket, yeah. Anyway, going back to something I mentioned at the beginning of the stream was, if anybody's got any friends or relatives in California, just put your prayers out there for them. They are struggling right now badly with those fires. I mean, Los Angeles is literally burning to the ground. 70, 80 mile an hour winds, and it's not making it any easier. And I won't go into the politics of it, because I'm sure the governor is going to have to take some responsibility for some of the stuff that's going on there. In the meantime, all right. So I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. There's one. And then I will squeegee that off and put some softener on there and get ready for the next side. And then the only thing left is to do the roof, which I'll bust out the carbon fiber, and I want to see if I was going to look up to find out if I could find a good photo of it. That's how I did a lot of the color schemes on this. Was I just looked at reference photos I could find online. Let's see if I can find a picture of the roof panel. Carbon fiber roof. And let's see if I've got images of that. Okay, so there's a few out there. That's actually, almost looks like that's a model car, actually. Okay, here's a good, let's see if we can zoom in on that. Yeah, there's a good picture of it. So if you look, if I can get the glare off the camera. Come on. Let's see. Okay, there. Now, can you see the pattern? It kind of goes at a diagonal. You can see the lines going from the corner of the glass all the way across to the other side. So that's why I was trying to pay attention to that detail. Was it doesn't just go any old direction. There's actually a specific direction for it. And I talked about this in the other streams that we were doing prior to this. Was Lexus actually had to replace a few wings because they had the roof going in a diagonal pattern, and then the wing was going straight front to back. And so somebody, obviously at Lexus, figured that out and realized they'd screwed up, and they had to replace a few of the carbon fiber wings because the carbon fiber pattern wasn't going in the right direction. All right, so let me just roll this one time. I think I've got it in the right position, so I'm ready to put some software on there. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to dip the other side as soon as I can pick it up. My tweezers. All the best of those in LA. My sister has been filling me in. Oh, that's right. I forgot about your sister. She's in the movie industry, right? Scary shit for sure. Yes, it absolutely is. I have a friend, someone I haven't really kept in touch, I have to say, but we're friends on Facebook. It was somebody I knew. I think one of my brothers might have actually dated her at one point. And so we've remained friends on Facebook and occasionally, wish each other happy birthday, that kind of thing. But just saw a post today that she'd actually lost her house. The entire neighborhood they were showing the video showed their house and the neighbors, but she said the entire block was pretty much gone, and I just can't fathom what that is like, to actually watch your house burn to the ground. I remember a few years back when another friend of ours, there was of course wildfires in California, they're just crazy, but there was a friend of ours who was on vacation and actually watched their house go down on television. I mean, talk about a helpless feeling. You're sitting there watching your house burn on the news, and you can't do anything about it. You're stuck in. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself on vacation, and you're just faced with having to just sit there and watch. All right, that's in place. I'll let that sit for a second so I can squeegee that. Yeah, I think at least two. I know for sure one, but I'm not positive on the second. A lot of people I know are getting evacuated, and there may be additional people that I just haven't heard from yet that have lost their homes as well. And it just sucks. I had to sit there and think about what it would be like if I, sat here and watched my house go and just realized, all the things. Now, granted, everything is, material items like that. It's all replaceable things, but especially in this hobby, we place a lot of emphasis on, hey, I got a backlog, this big backlog. I just can't imagine sitting there and watching everything that you've accumulated over the time, over time, and then realizing watching it just disappear before your eyes. So that's got to be heartbreaking. Oh, actually, there was. I was just speaking of one guy that watched his house go when he was on vacation, but then another friend of ours actually, lost his home too. This is probably like 3 or 4 people, and he was somebody that I know in the Renaissance Fair circuit, and so he was actually going through the rubble of his house and finding the swords that had burned, and there was nothing but the blades left, and they were just bent and melted and charred, but the handles, the wooden handles, all that stuff was gone, and he was just trying to recover the blades that were still there, from the fire, and it's just unreal. All right, I'm just checking these decals to make sure they're in the right spot, because that little F logo on the car is actually a raised it's a raised detail on and the decal just kind of goes over the top of it. So I'm making sure it's in the proper position as this decal starts to settle in and get in position. It's a little heavy on the softer, so I'm going to soak up some of that. Okay, there we go. All the while being very careful not to flex this damn roof panel. Yeah, heartbreaking to say the least, my friend. Okay, I guess we're ready to go into uncharted waters here. And I'm going to move these lenses out of the way because I got to make some room here to cut. Actually, you know what I might do? I might experiment on one of the spoilers. Just because, I want to see how this decal sheet reacts to being able to place it on the surface like this. So let me figure out how this opens on. Okay, let's just go a piece of tape here. All right, so this sheet is a nice sheet. All right, so keeping that pattern in mind. All right, so remember the photo I just showed you. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So you can see the pattern. It's very small, but it does go at a diagonal. So as it stands like this, it's going in this direction. So corner to corner, basically at a diagonal. So if I want to keep that in the same direction, I just have to, because it's basically going to go, if we're taking a starting point, we'll go from left front corner. Let me slide this down so we can see. So basically, the pattern should go diagonally across. I'm going to use something. I'm afraid I'm going to drop that damn thing. So from corner to corner is essentially the way it should go. So if the wing is in the same direction, I want to go diagonally across the wing this way, corner to corner. So that would be basically just like this. So the pattern is going in this direction. So if I lay this down, let me get this sheet out of the way. If I lay this down, I should be able to cut a rectangular piece out of this. And I'm using this wing because this is the one I'm probably not going to use, if any, because it's the wing in down position. So it's easier for me to experiment on this one versus the other one, which is the deployed wing, which is what I'm going to use. So I want to make sure that if I do make a mistake, it's on something like this one. All right, so I'm just laying this down as a guide. I could probably even use that edge. And then really all I've got to do is just measure how far up I want to go and then just cut it out. And it will be slightly larger, and then I can trim it back. I don't think the carbon fiber goes underneath. But again, this is the wing down, so if it does fold under, it's not going to hurt anything. The other one will be a little bit harder because I've got to trim it and make sure those bottom edges are still exposed, red, body color red. Let's see, I need a pen to mark this with. I guess I could just use my pencil here. All right, where are we at? We're at 650, still going strong. Got my little 0.3 millimeter GSI. All right, so I need to go slightly larger. which will be, if I place this down, so just 5/8 of an inch, actually plenty. So let me lay that down there. 5/8. Oh, yeah. I need to measure from here. There we go. This pencil doesn't work very well on that. It's not easy to draw on that. I might need to use ink instead, but I think I can just eyeball it. All right, so let me cut off a strip here. I think I'm going to change out my blade. I just want to get as sharp a blade as I can possibly get on this. So anytime I'm doing any kind of trimming, I don't want to be trying to deal with a dull blade. And as some of you know, I use X-Acto X-Life. These are number 11 X-Life blades. They are very sharp and durable. They last a lot longer than a standard X-Acto blade. I bought this one box of 100 a long time ago, and I'm still not even halfway through the box. So, all right, and they aren't oiled, so I just want to take that off. All right, let's pop this in. Okay, so let me mark the length here before I go any further. Okay, so I'm going to go here. All right, set that aside. I've already marked where, or the width that I have to do here. Okay. All right. Set that aside. Okay, so here is our piece. And the pattern is going to go from diagonal across. So let's see if this works. I think once I get the decal on and get it stuck to the piece, then I can actually go back and slowly trim it off. You know, the pieces that are overhanging, I should be able to, I'm hoping, should be able to just cut those off, just laying it on the bench and trimming that excess off. My water should be getting pretty warm now. Yep, it's actually doing well. Go down to the low setting there. Okay. Wow, this decal, oh wow. It actually has a texture to it. I like it. That's crazy. And it doesn't take long before it's sliding off the paper. So, oh boy, okay. Wow, this is really thin. So it wants to actually curl under. That's not a bad thing. But I'm going to hold this as I try to take this off. I just got to kind of, there we go, just like that. All right, so what I can do here, let me just, because I'm working kind of close to the cuff here, let me, let's see here. Oh, wrong direction. Let me just go up a little bit. Wow. So you can kind of see how that is already trying to fold around. Damn. Oh wow, this is this reacts so much differently. It feels like I'm trying to squeegee out the water, but it feels almost like it's not feel. I mean, when I say feel, I'm talking about just by the way it appears to be reacting. It's very thin yet durable, but it's like it wants to dry. It wants to dry and curl around the edges just naturally. I'm going to take this off the paper so I can set it down. Now this is an experiment for everybody here. I've never used this decal before. I've never used a carbon fiber, sheet like this to cut it to fit. So this is an experiment for everybody watching right now to see if this actually works. So far, I like the way it is smoothing out. It's kind of hard to see on camera. It just looks black, but I can see the pattern, and I cut it, straight along the edge. Laid it down with along the straight edges of the wing, so the pattern is going to go in the right direction. As I can just slowly squeegee out this water, and then I will try to trim this. So let's see if I can do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to peel it right back off again. Wow. I may have to flip this over. I'm just not confident that it's going to move when I go to cut it. So let me smooth it out again. So far, so good. The very edge is the only thing that's kind of giving me a little bit of grief. Doesn't feel like it wants to sit down on one side, but I'm thinking I got to flip it over. Okay, so I can use the actual wing as a template to cut this excess off ever so gently. No, don't do that. I think that's going to work, but I really got to just not let the decal move. Whew. All right, so turn this back over. Oh, so close. I got a little bit of a... You can actually touch that up with some paint. There's like one little blemish that when I was cutting it kind of just moved on me. So, but it's such a small little piece that I could probably just I'm pulling these pieces off here. Now that I've got the corners set, I'm just using the actual spoiler to kind of hold the decal down and cutting off, slowly trimming it back here. All right, flip this back over. Gotta get those sides. Don't think that worked. I think I just screwed it all up. Yep. All right, lesson learned. I was trying to trim the sides, but you see what happened. It completely just destroyed it. So let me peel this bag off, and we'll do this again. All right, one down. It almost worked. So let me cut another one. I'll cut it in the same direction. So what I need to do is get an exact measurement of this wing. So this wing is nearly 4 centimeters, almost exact. It actually is. It's 4 centimeters exactly. All right, so cut another one. I'm going to get this right tonight. We shall see. Fortunately, the sheet's big enough that I don't want to, but I can afford to make a mistake or two. But that's about it. All right, so let's try this again. Dust off that. Don't need those pieces. Give this a quick dip here. I think what I may have to do is, instead of trying to trim it right away, I'm gonna have to let it make sure that it's really stuck on there and nearly drying, and then trim the edges away, because it just started to peel because the decal was still just too soft, and I hadn't even put any softener on it. It just really got soft. And this almost moves instantly. I mean, it comes off the sheet so quickly. It's already got water underneath it on the paper. All right. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just going to try to start the front edge of this right where the edge of the wing is. Okay, I got to move this around a little bit. All right. When it first goes on there, it moves really easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth it out. And leave it sit here for a minute and actually start to adhere before I attempt to trim the edges. So I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit harder. It's really hard to see. Okay, there we go. If I get the right reflection, so you can see the shape of the wing. So I've got this kind of a crescent shape there in the front of the wing that I've got to trim, and then I've got the corners on the back on each side. The center of that is kind of like right where it's not quite as long. It's just a little bit wider than the wing, so there won't be much to trim off the back in the middle. It's mostly just the corners, but I think I need to let this sit for just a minute and adhere better. I did clear coat these. Both wings have been clear coated, so they're a nice, smooth, glossy surface for this to go down onto. And even if, I doubt even if there was any, silvering underneath it, you wouldn't see it just because the decal is not opaque. I mean, you can't see through it. It's a solid carbon fiber pattern. They have different, coarse, medium, and fine sheets when you want to buy this stuff, if you decide to do it. So far, I'm not disappointed by the quality. I think it's very good. I think this is the fine. Let me see if it's listed on the tab. Detail. Yeah, this is the fine carbon fiber. So the patterns, if you buy one, keep that in mind. That if it says coarse, medium, or fine, in other words, this is for smaller scale models, like 1/24 scale cars like this. I think they mention RCs going up to maybe 112 at the most, but anything larger than that, you should probably use a medium or a coarse pattern. This being 1/24 scale, I'm going with the fine. And I think it matches. It looks really, really nice at this scale. I think this is the perfect size. And it's just the pattern that I'm talking about, the actual visible pattern that's on it. So I'm just continually squeezing this out, and I'm going to let it sit here for a little bit. It might actually be easier to completely trim this once it's totally dry. I may actually put some softener on the top of this just so it help. I don't know if that'll help make it glue down any better to this flat surface, but I've got all the air out. I can see that it's nice and flat and it's starting to dry out. Edges are starting to curl a little bit because it's drying out. But I want to let it sit for a little while longer before we mess around with it. In the meantime, how was everybody's Christmas and New Year's? Like I said, mine was kind of mellow. Didn't do a whole lot. The kids are all, my youngest is 25, 26 now. I can't, gosh, I'm getting to the age I can't remember. That's getting bad. So, we're not spending hundreds of dollars on the kids anymore. We just let them pick one or two things and get them something, But one of the things I did get from my stepson was a Star Wars mini fridge. He got me an R2-D2 mini fridge for my room up here. So much to the demise of my wife, who insists that not having a mini fridge was the only way that would keep me from coming downstairs when I needed to get a drink or something. Now I've got a mini fridge. I don't have to do that. So yeah, she's not too pleased by it, but hey, the kids got it for me. Can't do anything about it. How many people? We got 6 people still watching. We're doing good. Everybody's on YouTube tonight. Excellent. I appreciate everybody putting comments in on the YouTube channel. That definitely helps the algorithm. For sure. Not just liking and subscribing. Of course, that does too. But commenting increases that those interactions with this crazy ass YouTubes, the tubes. Gosh, I'm so tempted just to flip this over again, but I really want to make sure this works, because it's going to be a good learning process for doing the other wing. What I could probably do is just push this aside, and then I can paint these two side mirrors. They're already painted red, but there's a little, you can see on that darker area, that's on the inside that faces the body of the car. That has to be black, so I didn't paint those yet, but I will do those by hand. And to make sure I don't screw it up, I'll use Tamiya enamels. So if I do make a mistake, I can just take it off with enamel thinner and it won't touch my lacquers. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just mix up this little bottle of gloss black enamel, and then I might need a little bit of thinner. I don't think this is, yeah, I guess it's thin enough. Let's see, I need, which brush? Where are you? Well, there's only 3 that I typically use all the time. There it is. Want this one. So I'm just going to hold these by hand. Hopefully they don't fly out of my hands. They are kind of tiny and very smooth, so sometimes it makes it, yep, just like that, makes it difficult to hang on to. Unfortunately, there's no tab that I can even put a clip or anything on. There's barely even a little piece that just lines it up where it goes on the body. If you look at the doors, there's like a little notch right there. See that little notch? Just to the forward edge of the door, forward part of the door. Yeah, that's all. Very little. All right, so let's do this. This should be pretty straightforward. Enamel will settle down nicely. I actually might be able to get away with using it. Nah, I guess not. Just like anything else, hand painting, want to be fairly deliberate and quick so you don't leave any brush strokes behind, especially if it starts to set. And again, I painted the red with, the Tamiya, the rattle can that I decanted. So the enamel will stick to it, but I can go back over it. I can touch it up with some enamel thinner and a Q-tip. If I do make a mistake, I can take it right off. Just like almost like doing a reverse wash. That's one, and we'll get the second one here. All right. Try to just hold this in a way that doesn't shoot out of my hand, because they're so smooth and not very big. My big fingers are just barely holding on to this thing. I'm just trying to get it in a position where I can paint it where it's supposed to be painted without, like I said, without it flying out of my hands. And then I'll go ahead and clean up my edges with enamel thinner here in a sec. Okay, that's the second one. That was fairly painless. And it's just that inner edge. There's not a lot. That inner panel of it, it's just black. So let's clean out the brush, and then we'll give that paint a second to start to cure, and then I'll go ahead and take one of my Q-tips and refine that edge that shouldn't have paint on it with AK odorless enamel thinner. I love this stuff. It's great for panel lining and great for doing stuff like this. So let's see, I need one. This will probably work. All right, so first one, let's see if I can even pick this thing up. Oh, That's what I was trying not to do. Ah, come on, baby. Yeah, I'm just going to grab it there. Oh my gosh. Such a pain in the butt. All right. Actually, I think I'm going to hold it with my tweezers. There we go. Scary, scary. Oh, don't you dare. I let go. I let go. It's all right. I'm not damaging my paint at all. I'm just trying to get it to flip back over here. Come on, there we go. Let's grab the bottom edge just in case. So all I'm going to do is go over the front of this. There we go. That dresses up that front edge. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted to do. All right, now this one I got to do that as well. Flip it over. And then oh, that perfect. That worked beautifully. Okay, and a little bit back here. All right, we can set that down to dry. All right. Well, that was quite a bit less painful than I expected. I'm going to put these back out of reach just so they can dry because the animals take longer to dry than lacquers for sure. All right. Do we dare touch this decal again? What's the word in the room? What do you think, boys and girls? All right. It doesn't appear to be moving around anymore. It's got no bubbles. All the water is out from underneath it. So if I roll it over, try to do this in one shot. I'm just doing that so that the corner doesn't try to this is nerve-wracking. I think I got it though. Won't know until I flip it over. Ho, 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 ho. Look at that. There's a little bit on the corner here that was moving around a bit, but I can actually just use some mark softener on that, and that should put it back in place. So let's set this back down. I'm just going to go over it and see how this reacts. Now, again, this may screw things up, but I'm going to find out. I just not having used this type of decal before. I just want to, I want to be able to use this and see how this works. So I'm going to put some softener on there. Let that sit for a second. I still got some trimming to do on these corners, but the big one was that crescent. Touch, touch. Touch, touch. I don't like when the mark sucker pools up, so a lot of times you'll see me go over with the corner of a towel and kind of suck up some of those larger pools, because all it does is just, in some cases it can obliterate a decal, especially a clear one. Well, this one isn't clear, but I can see the softener's doing its job. The decals kind of wrinkled a little bit, which is perfectly fine. It'll flatten out when it dries, so I'm going to let it sit here and just do its job. Let me just take one last peek over at the 2 that I did put on the car, or 3. That one looks good. I might do another little coat of softener on it. That's Devin from work. What does Devin want? Too bad, Devin. I'm busy. All right. So I'm going to do a little more softener on each one of these just to finish them off. I don't think I need to do the rear. No, that brake light looks really good. Again, if I got a little too much, I'll just go back and just kind of suck up a tiny bit of that. There we go. All right. Doing pretty good, folks. Okay, I think we're almost to the end of the show here tonight. I know this was kind of, some of it was kind of monotonous and more talking than anything, but we did do some decals tonight. Hopefully by next week I'll have the body ready to go on. We might be able to finish this project this week. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to make any promises because I may encounter some unforeseen problems like getting the carbon fiber on. I think the wings almost, after seeing how this reacted, I think the roof might actually be the easier of these panels because the wing is such a thin piece and I have to, trim it just right. Whereas this, I think because I have such a good groove here, if I use that softener on there, it's going to settle down. I'll be able to see that line. Let me just bring this into camera here. So I'll be able to actually see these roof lines nicely and be able to run that blade right down. And then, of course, the front and rear edges will fold under. And this decal seems to fold very, very easily. So that makes me feel really good about those edges on the front and rear. Once I get those in place, I should be able to, it should go under nicely and stay there. And it'll look perfect. I think it'll look perfect. So I'm going to turn the water off. I don't need my heater on right now. I think we're done with that. Anywho, let's see where are we at. We're at 70 hour. We're getting there. So let's get ready to call this. I'm just going to go roll this a couple more times on the edges just to make sure. Again, this wing is going to be winged down, so even if there's a little bit folded under the sides of the edges, that'll be fine because that'll disappear behind the panels there. With any luck, I could actually, I don't know if I want to mess with it. I was going to say I could place it on the car just to see what it kind of looks like. Even though it's not completely trimmed yet, I still got the corners. Yeah, I'm going to let it sit here. I can't. It's just too fragile. I got to let it set and dry before I go anywhere. My wife's like, "You done?" No. Is it 7:30 yet? No, I'm not done. All right. We're almost done. Okay. So what do we do tonight? Let's see. We put the third brake light decal on there. There it is. Looks nice and clean. That should be easy to clear coat. And then we also did 2 of those little F Sport logos on each side. I think those came out really nicely. Nice and level. Nice and they fit that piece perfectly. One of the things I was talking to a guy at work with, I was talking to Tyler actually about this, was those F Sport logos aren't high gloss. They don't have a high gloss finish. So I was like, how am I going to do this when I seal this with gloss? How am I going to make those look like they're not high gloss? I thought, well, maybe I could just leave it, which I will more than likely do, or I could take a hand brush and actually hand brush a little bit of clear flat on those, and that will offset that gloss and kind of give it that little bit of almost like color separation. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. I might try that. I might just try that. Anyway, everything else is drying. Let's go up here. We're going to go back to the down view here. So we got all the interior wheels on. I shouldn't have put the wheels on, but no big deals. I can put those center caps in as it is. We've got the, actually, let's go a little bit close. Let's do close up one last time here. So I got the rear radiators each side. There's a radiator. I got the radiator fans. Those are intake. These intake scoops go right up here on the both intakes on the top. That's what feeds those. In the front, we've got the AC condenser in here, and these two little coolers on either side. Wheels move back and forth in the front. And the interior is done with the seat belts. I don't know if you can even see the little buckle there with the red button. Come on, focus. There we go. So there's my little buckles in there, the red buttons, and the seat belts are done just the way they are. There's kind of like a triangle. There's like a pivot point down there. You can see at the part that you pull across your body actually has it connects at an angle, so it goes across like a good, nice, comfortable latch. They are very comfortable belts, and so yeah, I tried to scratch build those to exactly the way they are in the real car, and I think they came out great. So anyway, I think we're about wrapped up. Let me go back there. Hey, Jason, I didn't see you. Sorry, buddy, I didn't see you come in. I will not be at the Museum of Flight show this month because I have to work that Saturday, and I do not have any PTO time. So sorry, but I missed your message earlier. I won't be able to make it. Every year it seems like I'm working when that show's on. So going back here, Julius, thanks for coming in. Tyler, as always, thank you, sir. Angel, Nick. And then we're going down here. We got Julius again. George, great to see you as always. And then, of course, GB popped in too. Well, I didn't see you. Sorry, GB. I was really focused on what we're working on tonight, so I didn't get a chance to say hi to everybody. Sorry about that. I'm glad to see you come in, though. I appreciate you all the way from Australia. And let's see, Jason, of course, I missed you right at the last minute there, Jason. Good to see you too. Anyway, interior looks great. Like a real 1-to-1 scale. Well, thank you, Julius. I appreciate that. So we'll go up here and look at my ugly ass mug. Sport my Gundamonium shirt. Yeah. Anyway, boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Sorry I missed you the last couple of weeks, but again, the holidays are the holidays, and sometimes they get in the way. This one just happened to fall on the same days I do my live stream, so decided to take a little time off. That gave me a little chance to kind of reflect and take my time dealing with the trying new techniques, because the wet sanding, all that stuff was new to me. So rather than trying to experiment with that on camera, it was at least a nice change to be able to just take it easy, do some painting, see how these things react as you're sanding the different grits, and see which ones are too aggressive for your project, or maybe need to be a little bit more. And those Zona sheets work great. I just cut them down into some small little pieces, little 2x2 inch pieces. Work great for wet sanding. So again, thank you for Brian Denclow, Mr. Bro Builder, for recommending those. They're awesome. And as far as everybody else, hit that like button, subscribe, please. Notifications bar if you like it. Hit that bell, and leave a comment in the chat. That always helps out. That helps out the algorithm. So anyway, we're gonna check on out here. So anyway, thanks again. I appreciate each and every one of you. Love all of you from the bottom of my heart, and we shall see you on the flip. All right, boys and girls. Peace out.